In this video, we're going to look at the slope of a line. The slope of a line is the ratio of the vertical change or change in y between 2 points and the horizontal change, meaning change in x. We have a visual here over on the right. You can see that I'm starting at this point x1, y1 and going to this other point x2, y2. The slope is going to be the rise or change in y over the run or change in x. Geometrically, the slope of a line measures the steepness of the line, and we often use the letter m to represent slope. When you have 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2 on the line, then the slope m is y2 minus y1, meaning the change in y, divided by x2 minus x1, meaning the change in x. Let's look at an example here. We want to find the slope of the line that passes through the points -4, 5, and 2, 3. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and label my points. So I have to use these points in the formula. So I'm going to label them x1, y1. Doesn't matter which one I pick as the first point and which one I pick as the second point. I usually just do the first one listed as my x1, y1. And then the second one is going to be my x2, y2. Remember, an ordered pair always lists the x first. And so that's why it's x1, y1 and x2, y2. So now I'm going to use this formula here. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to get my slope, which I'm going to call m, equals y2, which was a 3, minus y1, which is a 5, divided by x2, which is a 2 from over here, minus x1. Now notice x1 is a negative, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in parentheses. I'm still subtracting it, so I want to keep track of the fact that I'm subtracting a negative. Okay, so 3 minus 5 is -2. 2 minus -4 is the same as 2 plus 4, which would be a 6. And I want to go ahead and reduce that fraction. Now, if you can do that in your head, that's great. We're going to get a -1/3 because 2 goes into itself 1 time and 2 goes into 6 3 times. So that's my reduced fraction. That's going to be my final answer for the slope. Now, if you have trouble reducing fractions, you're welcome to use the TI-84 or Desmos. If you want to use Desmos, go to desmos.com, DESMOS.com. Under Math Tools, you'll select Scientific Calculator. If you put in the 2 divided by 6, it will give you a decimal answer, but if you want a fraction, a simplified fraction, you can click this button right next to the answer, and it says convert to fraction. It'll convert your answer to a fraction. So you can go ahead and do that. Just keep track of your negatives, whether your slope is negative or positive, based on back here, whether you have a negative over a positive, or a negative over a negative, or a positive over a negative. When looking at a graph, the slope is positive if the graph goes up from left to right. So if it's sloping up like this, it's going to be a positive slope. If it is sloping down from left to right, so like this, then your slope will be a negative. We'll look more at using slope in another video, using slope to graph.